hating on you with their friends, girl, you got it.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Michaela Sierra, and I'm back with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have been rocking with your girl this far, welcome back. So for today's video, we are just gonna get straight into this topic of flossing. Why is it so important? Why is it that every time you see your hygienist, they tell you that you need to floss more? There are so many people who feel like flossing is pointless, or they feel like because they've never had a cavity that they don't have to floss. But if you cannot tell me the importance of flossing your teeth, then you need to stay and watch this video. So if you go to the dentist regularly, then I'm pretty sure at some point your hygienist has either told you, one, that you need to floss more, or two, they've explained to you the importance of making sure you are flossing daily. And a lot of people sometimes think that, oh, I never floss. Oh, it's too much. I can't do it. I don't have time to do it. It hurts. I get it. I hear it all the time. I have heard so many different excuses as to why people cannot floss. But flossing is definitely beneficial for not only your gum health, but for your overall systemic health as well. So the three main reasons why flossing is important is, one, it helps to fight gingivitis. Two, it helps to fight gum disease. And three, it just helps with overall healthiness of your gum tissue. So let's get into the first one, gingivitis. Flossing absolutely, definitely helps to prevent gingivitis. Gingivitis is literally just a fancy term for puffy, inflamed gum tissue. And the good thing about it is that gingivitis is reversible. So what that flossing does is that it helps to disturb that bacteria underneath your gum tissue that's just lingering there, causing your gums to be inflamed, and it helps to prevent gingivitis. So the main difference between gingivitis versus gum disease is gingivitis only affects the gum tissue. So you are at a reversible stage. Usually the main people that I see in my chair with gingivitis are teenagers, pregnant women, people with bad oral hygiene, meaning they have a lot of plaque, or some people with certain mental disabilities to where they can't brush their teeth as appropriately as they should. One of the main things that I tell my patients, especially when they have signs of gingivitis, is that I tell them straight up, you are at a stage right now where everything is reversible. I just need you to floss more. One, because your gums are really inflamed. You might be doing a great job brushing, but if you're not getting in between that teeth with some floss, your gums are gonna bleed. Your gums are gonna be puffy. There's gonna be bacteria that is going undisturbed underneath your gum tissue. And you might notice when you go to brush your teeth that your gums might bleed. Anytime your gums bleed, that is a sign of gingivitis and something going on underneath the gum tissue, because healthy gums do not bleed. I tell people all the time, if you went to wash your hands under the sink and you saw blood, you would think something was wrong. So think the same thing about your gums. The more you floss, the less your gums will bleed, and eventually they will not bleed anymore at all. No bleeding is definitely what we want to see as hygienists, because that indicates that your gums are healthy. So definitely make sure you pick up that floss to help prevent that gingivitis. I usually recommend to my patients, if you are not a flosser, try to make it a habit of flossing once a day, every night before you go to bed, because the nighttime is where that bad bacteria usually likes to linger around underneath the gums, and it's literally feeding on any food that you have left in your gums from throughout the day. So if you ate chicken, steak, ribs, all of that good stuff throughout the day, and you don't floss your teeth at nighttime, all of that bad bacteria is pretty much having a buffet underneath your gums, which is why your gums are bleeding, which is why they are irritated, and which is why your gums hurt when you floss. It's because you don't normally floss your teeth, because your gums are inflamed. So if you can make that once a day thing, that literally goes a long way to help prevent gingivitis. A lot of times with gingivitis, you might think, oh, this person has gingivitis because they have a lot of plaque on their teeth. Gingivitis is not always plaque induced. You can literally have gingivitis simply from not flossing. But when I go to floss your teeth, if they're gushing blood, you have gingivitis. So pick up that floss and floss your teeth every night before bed. So now getting into the gum disease portion. So with gum disease, that is something that is irreversible. And that pretty much means that that bacteria that once started off as gingivitis has now started to disintegrate the bone that supports your teeth into place. So this is called gum disease or periodontal disease. So that is another reason why it is so important that you floss your teeth, because it helps to prevent that gum disease. Now, one thing about gum disease is that it is a genetic component to it as well, or it can be a genetic component. But just because your grandma, your mom, your dad had gum disease, that does not mean that that is going to be your destiny, because it is preventable. That little piece of string will literally save you hundreds to thousands of dollars just by simply using it. And I will tell you, whenever you have a gum disease, that means that you will need some type of deep cleaning. Usually with a deep cleaning, insurance, if you have it, it pays on it pretty good depending on your type of insurance coverage. But if you don't have any insurance, dental insurance, a deep cleaning is costing you as much as $600 for each side of the mouth. So typically for a deep cleaning, we do one half of the mouth at a time, and that's because that's something you have to be numb for. So when we are going underneath the gums, we're cleaning out all of that bacteria that once started off as gingivitis and now has turned into gum disease. And a lot of times people end up with gum disease due to lack of flossing. So please pick up that piece of floss, because it literally can save the foundation that's supporting your teeth into place. Once you're losing bone under the gum tissue, your teeth can become mobile and come out at some point, which is why it is so important that you floss. And another thing that I want to go back on, I know I mentioned that a lot of times you'll get that warning sign of bleeding, but that's not always everybody's case, especially for smokers and heavy smokers at that. So people who are smokers, they aren't going to see as much bleeding, or they might not see any bleeding at all, just because whenever you smoke, that constricts the blood vessels in your gums, so it's not allowing your gums to bleed, as opposed to someone who didn't smoke. Which is why I always tell my patients who smoke, you have to be even more on top of your home care, especially flossing, because you might not get that warning sign of bleeding gums as opposed to someone who doesn't smoke. And the third thing, flossing just helps with overall healthiness of your gums and the foundation of your teeth in general. Lack of flossing can cause cavities in between the teeth. Now, of course, when you're brushing your teeth, you're getting the sides, the back, and the biting surfaces of your teeth, but those bristles are not going in between the teeth. So you're brushing and then there's still food stuck in between your teeth. That's where the flossing comes into play. A lot of people think of flossing as just something that you're doing to get food unstuck from in between your teeth. Yes, you are doing that, but you're actually helping to save your teeth and prevent cavities from forming in between the teeth. Now, just imagine if you go weeks to months without flossing, you have food that is literally lingering and rotting underneath your gum tissue. The bacteria that causes cavities and gum disease is literally feeding on everything that you have left in between your gums. So the main goal, which is why I go back to saying that I tell my patients to floss every night before bed. When you floss every night before bed, you are starving that bacteria. So they have no environment to live and to thrive in, which ultimately is a win-win for you, because that saves you hundreds of thousands of dollars in dental treatment because you use that piece of floss. So the next time you are at your dental appointment and your hygienist is telling you we have to floss more, do not ignore them, and do not just brush it across your head and think, oh, this is not important, I never floss, because eventually that will definitely catch up to you. So whether you're using the traditional string floss, whether you're using floss picks, a water flosser. Now, the water flosser is not meant to replace string floss or picks. You should still use your string floss or picks. The water flosser is just an adjunct, but it does help to flush out underneath the gum tissue. So any of those options are great. I just recommend floss your teeth every night before bed, and that will definitely take you a long way. Right now, if you're noticing bleeding, floss as much as you can, because the more you floss, the less your gums will bleed, and eventually they will not bleed anymore. And if you are not on a regular interval with going to the dentist, I highly recommend that you go to the dentist. It doesn't mean, because you don't have anything hurting, that does not mean that you don't have something going on. So keep up with those regular dental appointments, floss and brush like normal, and that will definitely save you so much trouble in the long run. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace out.